there's a lot of regulations around selling investment products, about soliciting investment through the FCA, which you'll no doubt be familiar with. You may already be an FCA regulated firm. Now I'm going to cover all the different channels. So outbound, I'm going to cover search, so that's SEO and paid. I'm going to also cover social media, and then I'm going to put a sort of bow on top of it at the end. Outbound is kind of out of bounds to you because you're a B2C company, so you cannot just go around emailing people you've never met and telling them to take a look at your product or service. That is out. You cannot do it. That being said, you can do something on social media, on LinkedIn, because technically, once you are a first degree connection with somebody on LinkedIn, you can message them. So because you're selling a financial product, what I have seen work is, you're selling a financial service. What I have seen work is you can identify everybody who is likely to have the kind of money for your services. So a good example might be CEOs of companies with more than 50 people. You can probably assume that that person is going to be earning a decent amount of money. So there's loads of people that meet that criteria on LinkedIn. You can actually draw up a list of those and message them on a personal capacity, whereas you cannot do that on email. So you can actually set up a LinkedIn bot and this will automate this work for you. So it's basically LinkedIn bot outreach, where you approach all these different people and you say, hey, I noticed you're really successful in your business. What are you doing to invest in companies? What are you doing to protect your investments? What are you doing to protect your wealth? Like whatever it is that you're pitching, you can actually do that. You can actually just go direct to the consumer, and so there's nothing technically. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing against. I mean, the only thing that you're putting up here is potentially a bit of brand damage if you do this incorrectly. So if you message people twice with the same thing, if you you really need to know what you're doing. I actually have prepared a training on LinkedIn bots. If I can remember, it should be in the link to this, like in the description or in the email or the landing page, wherever you're watching this. I'll try and include a link there. And if it's not there now, it will be at some point because I'm in the process of finalizing it. But I'm doing a whole training on how you can set it up, find a LinkedIn bot, and actually do it at scale effectively without damaging your brand, because LinkedIn doesn't want you doing it, and there's a lot of ways you can trip up that don't at first appear. So definitely find someone who knows what they're doing with that, or I'll keep in touch and I'll send you this training. But that's a very good workaround between cold outreach, because basically it's like Facebook. Once someone is your friend, you can spam them endlessly. They might not like you if you do it, but you can do it. So if you're really on sort of a low cost, if you're on a low cost form of something, you want to combine that with very tasteful messaging. There's all sorts of tips and tricks to do that, but there is a way that you can do it there, and that will be one of the most cost-effective ways of getting your message in front of people. It's there's no telling how people react because it's a very new area. LinkedIn bot automated outreach on a B2C scale is a very new area. Some people react well, some people don't react well. You probably need to investigate that further, but I'm definitely flagging it because it's something you probably haven't heard of, and you should be aware at least of what it could potentially do. So that kind of covers just outbound to new people. Everything else you're going to be doing is basically going to be inbound. Now, depending on what you're doing, search and social will probably be about equal in terms of how effective they can be. Because you're going to the consumer, Facebook is going to be the place you want to go, unless there are certain types of people that you actually want to talk to. So if it is CEOs of companies that you specialize in, or it is like directors, or it is if that's what it is, you're looking for CEOs, or you have a perfect thing for them, then you can use LinkedIn because it's much better as a business directory. You can use business level categories to segment people. But 99% of the time, you're probably going to want to be using Facebook because you're just after wealthy people. Because if they can afford to pay you, £5,000, well, much more than £5,000, like several thousand, maybe even £3,000-4,000 a year to access your service, they're definitely going to be somewhat well off. Facebook is very good at finding those people. You can do that by postcode targeting. You can do that by the sort of groups they're interested in. If they're interested in, yacht maintenance club, or the rare watches club, or the Patek Philippe owners, appreciation group on Facebook. You can find all these pages. You can send ads to people who are part of them. You can layer on other stuff like location, Mayfair, plus these groups. You can do very, very interesting targeting. With Facebook, you have no idea which audience is going to work. So there's theoretically like hundreds of different audiences that you could create using Facebook's available targeting metrics, especially the sort of pages and interests things. There's lots of ways you can try and theoretically cut that audience out of Facebook's 2 billion or whatever it is users. So what you want to do is you want to apply a methodology where you are first testing all of the different audiences. You're looking at the data that comes back. Then you test all of the ad creative. You look at the data that comes back. You then test the ad placements, timings, etc. Then everything comes back. Then you test the call to actions. Then you test the landing page on which people are being driven to. So at each stage of the funnel, you want to keep all the other stages the same and rigorously test each one. See which one wins. It's like split testing is the name of it, and then move on to the next one. If you're going to do it yourself. Otherwise, hire someone or get an agency to do it. But Facebook / Instagram is owned by Facebook. Instagram is just where the ads get placed, in the same way that do they get placed on your Facebook feed or on the side or on Instagram. It's just all part of the same thing. So you can find very, very wealthy people on Facebook and Instagram. My hunch is a lot of them will spend more time on Instagram than Facebook, but a lot of them are older. Facebook is becoming an older and older place. So, this is definitely where you can focus your ads, and you can make them very informative about what you do. Now, if you're heavily FCA regulated or there's some language that you can't use or whatever, just bear that in mind. And the ads can just be much more vanilla. So you can say, you don't need to say invest and get a return or anything crass like that. You can just have your ads basically sponsoring content. So you can say, you can write an article, let's say, about how the investment landscape is changing, or whatever your article is that you think the person would be interested in. You can run an ad of that article, so you can make sure that everyone who's very wealthy gets that ad coming up a lot. They may be very interested in that. You might have a cool infographic, like an infographic of, the value of different assets over time and how they've changed. And there's a cool infographic about that. Someone clicks on that, they can see that it's you as an investment firm or as a capital markets advisory firm, whatever it is. They can see who it is that's created this thing. They may then click on you. A certain percentage of them will click, check out what you do, and naturally, organically drop an inquiry or create or whatever it is, give you a call. So this is a way of getting around the FCA. So it's not getting around it. It's just you're not advertising for them that you're going to make them money or that you're going to do anything like that. You're just saying, here's an interesting article. And if they organically want to look further into you as the creator of that article, then your details are right there. They can follow you back to your website. They can see your phone number there. They can choose to call you. So that's an advantage of social media. But so the more FCA regulated you are, the more you're going to lead with content, and you're going to wait for people to organically make their way to you. The more you are less FCA bound and you're more sort of transactional and open to the general public, the more pushy you can be in terms of, this is what I do, and you can get in touch right now and leave me your details and we'll have a call. Video works very, very well as well, especially for this stuff. You have very high sort of luxury produced videos. That's going to go very, very well as well. Everything is moving towards video, so the more video you can include, the better. So yes, so that's on the social media side. Then if we look on the search advertising side, there's obviously a huge amount of potential here as well. There may be a lot of consumer searches for what you do. I mean, the fact that you have like £5,000 lifetime value, you're dealing with a much smaller subset of the audience. So how many of those people are actively searching per month for your services? The answer might be quite low, which is why I didn't sort of spend too much time on search advertising or SEO. So it may be worth, if this is your first foray into digital marketing, I would focus on, take a good long hard look at if you can do something on the LinkedIn bot. That would be very cost effective to set up. So like for instance, accredited investors, you might want people that are FDs or something like that, just, that you can actually target through there. So So, and then search advertising you would only do if you had enough search volume for what it is that you do. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, search advertising can work. I didn't spend too much time on it here because I want to give you the real meat and potatoes. Obviously, search advertising, if there's not enough search volume, why spend thousands of pounds on SEO, especially if you have big competitors? I would definitely stay away from search if it's your first time doing digital marketing or you're looking for a new channel. If you already have these other areas locked down, obviously, like, you may as well scoop up all the search traffic that's there. Then by all means invest in SEO. By all means invest in search advertising. Now, the fact that you have a lifetime value that's greater than 5,000 means that basically you should be willing to spend up to £2,500 per customer. So if let's say you were asking me to bring you customers tomorrow, I would say, I'll give you a customer, you can be £2,500. That means effectively you'll be doubling your money. Or you don't understand what lifetime value is. I encourage you to check this YouTube channel. There are lifetime value series that I've created for each type of company. There should have been one on the Larrybot thing as well, but you may have missed that. But so, if you're saying that profit-wise, you're going to make £5,000 over the course of the several years a client from their first transaction to their last till they move away, that means that a customer's worth more than £5,000 to you. It could be worth more than 20 grand to you in terms of profit. And if that is the case, you should be willing to invest a hell of a lot to get another customer. So if it's 10 grand, why would you not spend 5 grand if you could get 100 customers at 5 grand the next day? Sure, you're only going to make 5 grand less profit, but you're still going to be making a lot more money than you were before. And obviously it doesn't need to be anything near that drastic in terms of 5k for 10k. It could be 1k for 10k. Depends on the different people you have hired, what you're doing. But because your lifetime value is so high, it's an absolute no-brainer to do digital marketing. I mean, you can run these things for a couple £100, for a few £1,000s a month, internally or externally. All you need at this point is a couple clients a year and you've covered your costs. So if you're not already doing digital marketing, you are a very, very prime candidate. Pull your finger out and get started with it and get your head around it. And hopefully this piece of this video was a good, useful either start or another way of thinking about some of these channels. I really hope it does do something for your business. I really hope that it starts off internal conversations, gets you thinking. And as ever, if you need more information, if you want a personalized plan to your circumstances, you can always get in touch with me. Yeah, so hopefully see you around sometime. Otherwise, take this information, rewatch it as many times as you need, share it internally, do what you want with it. It's yours. Have a great, great, great time, and I wish every success for you and your business. Cheers. Hey there, brainy marketers. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you found it useful, do us a favor and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video on all of your social media channels. So go ahead and do all those things, and we'll see you for the next video. Cheers.